All right, the Padres, they knock off the Cubs today in spring training Cactus League action. This was a very encouraging day. Jhony Brito was on the mound. Matt Waldron came in as well. Both guys worked into 4 innings of work. Brito, 3 1/3. Waldron, 4 innings. He was very efficient. Sure, he gave up a run while Brito did not, but Waldron was more efficient. I think he threw less pitches than Jhony Brito did, but Brito, he had, I think, 6 punch-outs. Waldron had, I think he may have had 6 punch-outs as well, but the knuckleball was working. Then he'd come back on a fastball, but maybe the Padres find a hard time judging the competition Waldron was facing today in comparison to Brito, because Brito was facing the Cubs starters. Waldron came in, and he was facing prospects. Pretty much all the Cubs starters, I believe, had left the game at that time, but for the number 5 spot, 4 and 5, maybe some Padres fans would give the 4 spot to Brito right now. Some Padres fans might give it to Vasquez. Right now, I think it's Vasquez and Waldron, and then Brito maybe as a long man out of the bullpen. Maybe they sent him to El Paso, but the way he was pitching today, it reminded me of Nick Martinez. Someone who, when the breaking ball is working, man, that's a deadly weapon that he has. The velocity is there, but he was missing some of his spots today. So for anyone that wasn't watching the webcast today, I don't want to have you be looking at the line and be like, man, all right, Jhony Brito was amazing. He did give up a good amount of hits today in that work, but he got out of that one jam, first and second, couple singles, and he got 3 consecutive strikeouts. So that was good. You like to see that. And then Matt Waldron sure gave up a run, but after that, really settled down. And then offensively, Tatis had a pretty decent day, drove in a run. Kim, he is tearing it up in Cactus League play. He had a double before Tatis ended up driving him in. Jackson Merrill, this is where, like, at the beginning of these Cactus League games, when we weren't watching all of these games because they weren't available, and Jackson Merrill got off to a slow start average-wise, I'm like, all right, let's calm down. I want to know, like, the behind-the-scenes work. I want to see these at-bats. Maybe he's hitting the ball hard and it's hit right at someone. That was the case today. I want to say it was his first at-bat, hit a ball hard at first base, and that's just the way it happened. Hard ground ball, first base, and he's out. And then he ends up hitting a ball hard again, gets a hit. And then he ends up taking the ball the other way, and it's going down curving towards the left field line, and the Cubs left fielder makes a good diving catch to rob him. So it might be like a 1-for-3 day or whatever it was, and that might not seem too impressive, or you look at some of the other stat lines from some previous Cactus League games, but if we weren't watching those games, then we probably don't have the best opinion on, oh, how are these at-bats going with Jackson Merrill? How is he doing offensively at the plate? I'm not saying this guy is going to be the best player ever when he comes up to the big league level in Korea, because that's what we're all assuming, right? And I think that's the safe assumption, that he's going to be starting on opening day in Korea as of now, the way that this roster looks. He's going to struggle at some points. I mean, it's his first big league action. But I think there's a little bit of, it's a little bit of both, where are the Padres being desperate and they're rushing him, or is he showing that he actually belongs and he should be able to see if he can hang in the big leagues? And I think it's a little bit of both. You could definitely make the case for both sides. Graham Pauley had a single today. Marcy had a sac fly, brought in a run. Jhony Peralta worked that last 9th inning there. I like watching him pitch with the different timings that he has, so he'll be fun to watch. But yeah, really today, what stood out was Waldron and Brito. Both guys fighting for a rotation spot. Both guys pitched pretty darn well. So it's going to be a tough decision, but it's not a decision that has to be made right now. It's not a decision that has to be made on March 13th. I mean, the Padres aren't going to need a back end of the rotation until they get into the month of April, the way that their schedule is set up. So it's another day. I think Mike Schilt, Ruben Niebla are going to be pretty happy with what they saw today.